Hey guys, my name is Will, and this is another Evo 101 video. Welcome to another Evo 101 video where I answer all your Evo questions. Please comment below with the Evo questions that you have, whether it's about the 8s, 9s, or 10s, and I will be happy to answer those in a future Evo 101 video. Today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite Evos. Well, favorite isn't the right word. One of the Evos I hate the most, maybe, is better. And that is the Evo IX SE Special Edition. So there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to Evos in general. The SE being probably one of the higher ones in the confusion that it creates, actually more with the MR. Basically, I hope this video, along with the other videos in this series, will help clear up a lot of that misinformation regarding the Evos. As some of you may not know, my first Evo was an Evo IX GSR, which I'll put like right here. I bought this car brand new. I look like a dork, but I had a cool car. So anyways, previously I've owned an Evo X MR, which I will also put up here. And as you saw in the little intro there, that is my 05 Evo VIII RS. So I've owned them all. 8 RS, 9 GSR, 10 MR. So kind of going in order, just bottom out of order. All right, let's get started. And remember, this information is based on US Evos only. I don't really have a lot of information about EU or Australia or Japan or any other market. Most of my information is coming from my experience when the cars came out. I would love to do more videos comparing those other countries. If you are from one of those countries and you have some good sources of information, by all means, get in contact with me and I would love to do some on that. With that being said, let's get into today's video with the Evo IX SE. Now, if you want more information on the Evo 9s or any Evos, definitely check out my playlist, Evo 101, for all the basic stuff if you're looking to buy an Evo, or if you recently bought an Evo, or if you just own an Evo and maybe just don't know some of this stuff. Today we're going to cover the history of the SE, what exactly made the SE special. We're going to address all the confusion regarding the MR SE, and last but not least, who, if anyone, should buy an Evo 9 SE. All right, it's late 2006. I'd say it was probably about September when the SE started hitting lots, or at least in my area, or at least that's the first one I saw. They may have been out sooner elsewhere, especially like on the West Coast. It was a late model year for sure. It came out in late 06. In the US, we didn't have an 07 model. And I think this was partially Mitsubishi's way of keeping interest in the model and the brand, why there was that year gap between the 10. There are only 3 colors available: Apex Silver, Tarmac Black, and Graphite Gray. Now let's talk about what makes the Evo 9 SE special. The SE is special for a couple reasons, and it's not because Mitsubishi put a little badge on it and some red stitching. It's special because it almost seems like Mitsubishi USA anyways, or Mitsubishi as a whole, I'm not sure, was actually kind of paying attention to what customers were saying and wanted, or at least the racers, which is even more bizarre. In this video, we're not going to discuss the MR GSR debate. I do that in some other videos under the Evo 101 you can watch. I will say that if the MR transmission had been stronger, the SE probably wouldn't have existed, or if it did, nobody would have cared. On a more personal side, when I was going to buy my Evo 9, I wanted an MR, and my favorite color has always been red, and the dealer near me had a red Evo 9 MR sitting in the showroom. Now, I would not have bought red because I prefer to think of it more as go straight to jail, please skip go, and just you're screwed if you drive around in a red Evo. I mean, you might as well just, yeah. But I did want an MR. I wanted it for a couple of reasons. One, it looked cooler. You had the vortex generators, which I know now is easy to put on. You had the BBS wheels, which I've always been a fan of BBS. That was the biggest thing, really. You had a 6-speed, which, I don't know, extra gear, that seems cool. So yeah, I mean, and, you know, it was the top model, so why would you not want the top model? That was a few $1,000s more, but in the grand scheme of things, as far as like car payments go, that wasn't a crazy difference in price. Did take some suggestions of friends and the internet and went with the GSR, which for many years, I was happy that I had done that. Looking back, I think I should have just gotten the MR. I think back then I didn't care because I was too upset over the fact that I didn't get the SE. I didn't know the SE was coming. Had I known the SE was coming, I would have waited, even though I didn't have a car at the time. I'd have figured it out. The SE had all the MR stuff I wanted, which was mainly the BBS wheels and the HID lights. It was cheaper. You got to keep the 5-speed, which was what everybody was telling me was the problem. So speaking of the BBS wheels, they came in black. You also got the HIDs, which you no longer got on a GSR anymore unless you got the SSL. So if you didn't want leather and a sunroof, you couldn't have HIDs because that makes sense. I wanted HIDs HIDs, because especially back then, that was really cool. I mean, hardly any cars had HIDs. The red stitching was nice. That's cool. Aero kit, which is front lip, other little bits and so forth. Doesn't really make that big of a difference, but you know, okay, looks a little bit more aggressive. You got the SE badging, which whatever, nobody cares about that. And you got the aluminum roof from the MR. You got everything that you would want from an MR, really. You got the lighter roof, BBS wheels, all the aero packaging, which actually didn't even come standard on an MR, so you got above and beyond what an MR had at that point. And on top of all that, they gave you the stronger transmission and cut the price because of it. So, I mean, how could you not want that? I mean, if this was, you know, Porsche or BMW doing something like this, the SE would have been the most expensive model just because. GSRs at the time, they stickered for, I want to say like 32.5. MRs were more around like 35, 36. The SE came in at 33.3. Not even a grand more than a GSR. So, I mean, really, how can you complain about that? Let's address the MR SE now. So, what ended up happening is Mitsubishi said, light bulb moment, how can we make even more money off other Evos? People seem to like all this SE stuff, but it's cheaper. Why don't we put it on an MR and then make that car more expensive? And so that's what they did. You could get an appearance package. It was $500. It would give you the red stitching, it'd give you the black wheels, and it'd give you the aero kit. You still got the 6-speed because it was an MR, and they charged you $500. Still wasn't a bad deal, because if you bought the aero kit separately, I think that was like $600 or $700. That's what causes a lot of the confusion. People see MRs, and Evos are so commonly debadged. I mean, my own Evos are debadged. Well, my current Evo has a UK badge. That's a very common thing because they're hideous. People just would see an MR, they'd see the red stitching, they'd see the black wheels, and they'd be like, oh, it's a special edition MR. There is no special edition MR. Bear that in mind when you're looking. All right, last but not least, should you buy one? This is 2006, or you have a DeLorean handy, and you are gonna buy an Evo 9 brand new off the lot. Yes, you should totally buy an SE. It makes the most sense. All the good stuff of an MR, and you get a price cut. I don't look at it as a MR without the transmission so much as I look at it as you get a GSR with better wheels, better roof, aero kits, all that good stuff, and for a very small price premium. That being said, if you have a DeLorean handy, I would actually just take all that money and buy Apple stock. Don't buy a depreciating asset. But anyways, it's not 2006 anymore. It's 2019, or whenever you're watching this video. Should you buy one today? There's nothing wrong with buying one, but I wouldn't seek one out. There's so few Evos for sale that if I find one in good shape that I like and it happens to be an SE, fine. I'm okay with paying a little extra if it's priced accordingly. Not because it's an SE, just because it's a good Evo. So it's the same with an MR is gonna cost more than a GSR, but if it's priced accordingly to what an MR is, then whatever, it's fine. Now, if you've got a strict budget that you wanna stay under, then yeah, definitely don't go above and beyond that to get an SE. It's not worth it at all. I mean, the aluminum roof is cool, but again, you're probably not tracking this thing. If you were, you'd probably go for like an RS anyways or something, and you're gonna gut out most of what makes it special. The SE is really for that person who maybe wants to have some fun with it, maybe wants to do a little tracking, and wants the good parts of an MR without the liability of the transmission, which makes it such a great buy back in 2006. But again, in 2019 or later, not so much. I can swap a transmission or just buy a GSR. You can even swap roofs. You can put carbon roofs on them. So, I mean, that's not a huge concern for me. So in closing, the SE was really Mitsubishi giving customers what they wanted, I think. Whether by accident or intention, it's what I consider to be the peak of Mitsubishi Motors. Hopefully they'll get back there one day. You know, Nissan owns them now. Hopefully they won't just let it die out. Hopefully something good will come out of it. The Evo car as a whole was extremely popular. The 10s came out. They got better as they went on, but it wasn't as exciting. The Evos in general to the US were still relatively new. They just came out in 03, so we're only a few years into it. The hype was extremely high. It was just a great time to be in that Evo scene and world, and even Mitsubishi was doing a great job. Here we are 10 plus years later, and the SE, it's just another model that you're gonna run across when you're out shopping. Yeah, people are gonna want a price premium because it's a special edition. Fact of the matter is all the stuff that made it special really isn't that relevant anymore. With the aftermarket and buying used cars, the price premium that somebody's probably gonna want, if you can find a good condition GSR, MR, and SE, I'd buy the good condition GSR first to save money, or the MR because I think I like those a little bit better than an SE, because I can take an MR and I can swap a transmission real easily and not have to pay that SE price premium. That being said, if you have an Evo 9 SE, definitely comment below, let me know, let others know what you think, or if you owned one back in the day, got one currently, tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it. Again, they're not bad cars. I love the cars. It's nothing like that. Also, please remember, if you want your Evo questions answered in a future Evo 101 video, definitely leave those below as well. Future videos that I know I have coming right now. Okay, my camera died at the last minute there, but basically send me your Evo 101 questions. Future videos that I know are coming are the Evo X Final Edition, the SST, some stuff on more details on the MR. So I've got quite a few, but definitely comment below. Let me know what you guys want me to answer. Instagram links for myself, Lotus, and Enzo below. I'm not going to move the camera this time. I learned my lesson. Appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe, like if that's your thing, and we will see you on the next video.
Yeah.